Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, this is Christine Crowell, and today is the day three where I'm going to be talking about the one of the famous mines in America. So, Trump and Elon Musk, let's sound the alarm. Let's look at this. Is silver now the new oil? You keep hearing Donald Trump say, drill, baby, drill, right? And America is also seems to be in, well, the world is really in a silver crisis due to the possibility of silver running out, depleting. It's going to run out in 20 years' time if they don't discover new mines. So this is why we're hearing this drill, baby, drill, so that they can find these mines. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough. So stay tuned until the end. I'm just going to sip my tea. Lovely. So, have you ever wondered why Donald Trump keeps saying drill, baby, drill? Because it's not drilling for oil. They're really wanting this silver. Obviously, there's the gold as well, but the silver, everyone's racing to get this silver in their own possessions. They want to be able to, how can I say it? If America gets back all of its gold back into Fort Knox, for example, so you imagine it's back in Fort Knox, then they've got to evaluate it. Now, is it the true value that is on paper of the gold that they have? Is that really the true value of the gold that's in Fort Knox or in the, the reserves, for example, in New York? Is that really all the gold, or is some of it missing? Maybe it's somewhere else, still in another country. Some of you would have noticed that they've asked for their gold back from the UK, for example. And this is lots of gold and silver. So it's like there's a drainage going on here. Everyone's wanting their gold back or their silver back in their own country, in their own vaults. So they know how much they've got in case of a crisis, that they are able to use this silver as a monetary system, like cash, because the cash is devaluing. So this makes sense for them to be everyone wanting their gold and silver back. But this is also should really help the financial situation, because if they purchase gold and silver back in the day, then surely these tons and tons will be worth a lot. For example, trillions of dollars, right? I mean, isn't there meant to be these deficits happening? So if they've got the gold and the silver back, and then it gets valuated, which is what I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe that they want to get this evaluated so that they know how much gold that they actually have in their possession. And at the same time, really, it should be audited by a specialist, to be honest with you, for example, by someone who is specialized to actually audit, test, etc. Yes, they purchased the golden, the gold may have been purchased for $42 back in the day, but gold currently at the moment is just over 3,000 per ounce. So that really should bring it into trillions of dollars. which will really help the economy, right? This is what I would think would happen. And I'm sure around the world, if everyone gets their gold back into their own vaults, then everybody will be able to assess how much they've got in their own vaults. That should really help the uncertainty right now that we are being faced with. So, but also this drill baby drill that Donald Trump keeps mentioning is to do with these minings, drilling down into the earth to get more of this silver, for example, that's needed for, guess what? AI. It's needed for, what else can you think? Solar panels. It's needed for renewable energy. It's needed for technology. It's needed for healthcare, medical equipment. It's needed for a lot of things, silver is. It's more value. So it is the new oil as far as I'm concerned. Because yes, okay, we need, they've got the electric vehicles now, for example, but what we need to look at is silver now becoming the new oil. And that everybody around the world, they want to hold their own gold and silver instead of lending it to one another. I don't even know how that came about, but that's another story for another day. Okay? So stay tuned until the end as I go through this discussion today. And what I really want to talk to you is about the United States of America, the hidden gold mine, the hidden gold empire. It's in Nevada. And what I want to say to you today is that in America, the home to the mighty Carling Trend Mine in Nevada, apparently it's one of the largest gold producing areas in the United States and a gold region, so that it is productive in a way that it is helping the entire country in its output. So what do you think about the USA? What it holds more, does it hold more gold than you actually know about? Do you think that there's more gold that they're not telling us about, that they're perhaps keeping a secret? What do you think? I'd love to know your views in the comments, because there's a lot of gold out there. There's a lot of silver out there. And it's like this gold rush is going on at the moment where everybody is wanting it back in their own, on their own doorstep, basically. So I'm going to go into this mine because it is located in the eastern part of Nevada, and it is a geological gold belt. It's over 5 miles wide, for example, and 40 miles long. Has anyone been there? Because I'd love to hear your comments if you have been there. It contains some of the richest gold deposits in North America. It was discovered in 1960, for example. And can you imagine, right? Since then, it really has produced a lot of gold. So is it now becoming empty, for example? Because it's been producing since 1960. So it's not a single mine, it's a gold producing system made up of dozens of massive open pits and underground operations. So, have you been to Carlin Trend? Apparently, it would rank amongst the top 10 global gold producers. What do you think? Have you been there? I haven't been there, but have you been there? And that's something that I want to do during these series, visiting these gold mines, for example, but online, for example. But if you've been there, wow, that would be amazing to hear your feedback. So, how much gold do you think has been mined? I can imagine that you're going to think a lot. But how much would you say? Would you say 20 million ounces? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll tell you, it's over 90 million ounces of gold has been mined from Carlin Trend to date. Annual production over 1.5 million ounces, making it more productive than Peru or Ghana in some of those years. Imagine this place in Nevada. Imagine. I've looked at it through like the satellite views, for example, and imagine being there, seeing that, how it works. I'm sure some of you may have had the privilege to have done that and been there, for example. But what makes it so unique? What makes it so unique out of the other gold mines around the world, for example? Is it invisible gold? Is it microscopic particles embedded in the rock? Miners use heap leaching and roasting techniques to extract the gold from there. These gold particles are so small they can't be seen with the naked eye or panned like the traditional gold. You know, like you put it in the ground and then you kind of sift it and then you can see. But this, apparently, you can't do it that way. So this has really changed how the geologicalists understood the gold deposits. This discovery is literally created a new category. It's called Carlin type deposits. So have you heard of invisible gold? Would you even invest in gold you can't even see? Comment yes or no in the chat, because I know what I would be thinking. So let's talk about the impact and the power. So Nevada accounts for over 70% of all US gold production. The mining industry, it supports tens of thousands of jobs and contributes billions to the economy. I need to investigate that section as well. Okay, so now there's New Mount, and Barrick operates a massive joint venture in the region. This is not just about gold. This is about national economic power and currency influence. Don't you agree? What do you think, for example? Now, people are saying that there is a gold hoarding conspiracy going on. So let's dive into this, shall we? The official US gold reserve is at 8,133 tons. Most stored at Fort Knox, West Point and Denver, for example, New York. Audits of Fort Knox haven't been fully public since 1974. That's quite some time. About 50 years, would you say? So some claim that the US is hoarding gold from Nevada mines secretly, keeping reserves off the books to maintain global currency dominance. Engagement with this would be really important. So, do you believe that the US has more gold than it claims, or do you think it's less? So the theories that have been said is that the US, that they're mining and storing this gold in a secret location. Could this be possible? To strengthen the geopolitical position? Or could the gold already be leased, sold, or long gone, disappeared? Maybe that's why some of it's saying it's the invisible gold. Maybe it's disappeared. It's been lost. Got into the wrong hands. It's leased. They've lost the paperwork. Or it's been sold. What do you think? So there's ongoing explorations in finding more underground gold deposits. So they're trying to look at automation, and AI technology are being used to improve the extractions happening. And with the gold prices rising, new mines are becoming profitable again. Could this be the reason why gold has gone up? So that it helps pay for the mining so that more gold can be produced. So apparently this isn't slowing down, it's evolving. So what's your feelings on this? Should the US open more gold mines or focus on protecting what's left? What do you think? So now that you know the US Carling Trend is one of the world's richest gold regions, producing more than many other nations. But is there more to the story than just the numbers? Is there a secret stash that we're not told about, or you're not told about? I'd love to know what your comments are. I'd love to know what you think about this. And I'd love for you to join me live tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time. That's 2 p.m. American time. And tomorrow is going to be about China about China's gold mining in the Shandong gold mine. I'll put some links here about where you can buy gold. I'm currently not an affiliate, but I can put some links here of where you can look at investing. But please do seek, investment financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, I am just here to give this information to you because I'm inquisitive. I want to know about these things. If I'm getting gold, I want to know where it's coming from or how it's produced, everything, and how it's being done. Is there an ethical way that it's being done? That's important to me. So if you've enjoyed this video today, this talk on the USA mine, then do like and subscribe. But let me tell you something, because you have to think about why the governments and the large organizations are really focusing on gold and silver. They're really wanting to look for this and find it. It's, for them to demand from the UK, from their gold reserve, their vaults, to empty out and send it over to America, for example. It's not done instantly. It takes months to arrive. So if you're thinking of getting gold and silver, then look at the coins. Go and visit your dealers, the shops that do gold and silver, for example, reputable ones. Be careful. You don't want to buy something online and it's not real. It's like copper and silver. You've got to be careful. You've got to make sure that you get it from the reputable companies out there. Okay? So one way is you can get it from a dealer that you know, for example, or why not do your own scrap gold parties? Host them, or have other people host them for you, and buy gold and silver at a discounted rate rather than at the spot rate, because you will then be able to make a profit, but also you'll be able to test the silver and gold for yourself with the testing equipment, the scales and the eye loops, for example. Why not start your own scrap gold business, for example? That is one way. The second way is, I'm going to put some links here with some companies that have got a good reputation, for example, and it's not fake, for example. But also, you also visit your dealers that's in your location, because they need your support as well. So maybe they've got gold coins, maybe they've got silver coins, maybe they've got silver bars, maybe they've got gold bars, for example. Check them out. Do your research. If you're building a portfolio and you want to grow your portfolio, then I would look at all the different strategies that I've mentioned to you over the coming weeks. You can start a gold business. You can buy from a dealer, for example, your local dealer. You can buy online from a reputable company, for example. But also, if you are a business owner, then you need to, whether you're a business owner or an individual, you need to start buying silver, because it is going to really increase, because silver is now becoming the new oil. Because imagine think about this, everyone. In 2030, for example, the electronic cars are going to be, well, they're dominant anyway. You see them everywhere, for example. But when you look at this, that means that the oil that we put into our vehicles aren't going to be needed as much. Yeah, because if we've all got to use electronic vehicles because it's mandatory, for example, then what do you think they're going to need? They're going to need silver, for example. Yeah, so the silver is going to become like gold. So think about that, because by 2030, how many people will be putting petrol in their car or gas into their car because it's electrical vehicles, because it's going to become mandatory, right? So this is why the silver that is being used, that needs to be used for electronic vehicles, is very valuable, because they won't be able to make that product without the gold. So that's why I say that silver is the new oil. And we keep hearing Donald Trump, for example, saying, drill baby drill, because they're drilling, looking for silver, because they're going to need it for the solar panels. They're going to need it for renewable energy. They're going to need it for the AI. They're going to need it for the chips, for the AI robots, for example. You know, the Nvidia, for example, yeah, they produce these chips, don't they? And then that's the thing that works. So that is got silver in it, because it's got this conductor that can make it work. They can't substitute it with any other metal, not yet, as far as we know. So the silver is going to be more valuable, because it's not just jewelry that we wear, it is in our industrial, it's manufacturing, it's dual purposes, it's everywhere. So it's going to become more valuable. It's like the tortoise that won the race. Silver is the hare, and the tortoise is silver is the tortoise, and gold is the hare, right? And gold is ahead, way ahead, but silver is going to catch up, because the demand is going to become more for silver. So if you're looking at increasing your wealth portfolio, for example, then get gold and silver. If you want to learn about how to start a scrap gold and silver business, for example, because you can turn those scrap gold, you can turn them into coins and silver or gold bars, for example, by taking it to a refinery, and they will smelt it down for you. I can't wait to start showing you these things, but I wanted to go through all the different mines that is around the world, because I'm sure it's something that we need to be aware of. And if you have been to any of the mines that I talk about, then please do comment in the chat that you've been there and you brought a coin from there, whatever. But think about this. The very wealthy organizations that need this silver, for example, they are going directly to the mines to purchase from them. Do you get me? So they're buying lots of materials because they need lots of materials, because they need the demand from us has become more. So now they need more silver to produce more of the items that we consumers have said that we want or are being told that we must have, i.e. the electric cars, for example. It's going to become mandatory that everyone, if you got a car, that it needs to be an electric vehicle. So that's why it's everywhere, for example. And then we've got AI now. So now that becomes more AI chips, the robots. I can't believe I'm even saying this word, robots, because I never imagined that there would be robots, literally. But this is where we are today. There's also the solar panels as well. So all of this and more. There's Apple, for example. They need silver as well for their products. Tech needs it. The medical field needs it as well, silver. So the demand is high than what gold is. It's just, at the moment, silver hasn't caught up with gold. But I believe it's at a lower price to keep the price down. Otherwise, it's going to be too expensive for those large organizations to purchase at the gold price. Can you imagine if they were paying 3,000 for an ounce of silver, for example? It's going to then put the price on us, the consumer. Then the price goes up. So who are the, I just wanted to touch base with you and talk to you about the alarm bells here, about silver. Silver is literally being grabbed, and people are literally, big organizations are literally asking for it to be delivered to them, and they're keeping it for themselves, for their needs, for example. So it's like silver is being ransacked because everyone's buying it. Imagine, they're saying that if they don't discover new silver mines, then silver will run out in 20 years' time. So can you imagine that? That's not long. That's not far away, 20 years. So even though they find a mine, it still takes some time to produce the silver from it because of all of the extractions and the things that they've got to do and processes. And it's like you can create silver, but it's got to grow into that, for example. The crystals and things like that. So I just wanted to drop this video and to share with you about the gold mine and the silver mine, for example, in Nevada, because I want you to come with me around the world as we visit the different mines around the world, especially if you're interested in investing in gold and silver. Then really you should know where your gold and silver is coming from and how it's produced. I know some of you probably don't think I'm not bothered about that, but I am. I want to know how things are being produced. I want it to be done in an ethical way as well. And I can imagine working in a mine must be hard work, must be dusty, all kinds of things. However, they know what they're doing, so they must do it safely, for example. But now they're talking about AI coming in, doing this extraction, for example. So what's going to happen to the miners? Does that mean the miners will lose their jobs if AI is going to go in and do this? I'm sure they're going to need the miners, because I believe that being a miner, I believe it's a specialized job. You know, it takes, they've got to be really strategic, very strategic with dealing with mining for silver or gold. So I wanted to share that with you. So join me tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow I am going to be talking about the gold mine in China, for example. Like I said, I'm traveling around the world online talking about the different mines, as well as I did a video earlier, it's just been uploaded, and that's where I talked about silver, for example, and there's a free guide there. I will put the link here as well for you to link to that video and watch the video, but also to grab the free guide that is there, because I think it's important that you're looking at investing, choose the right financial advice, for example, but also you're looking at buying and purchasing, you want to ensure that it's from a reputable dealer, and I'll put the links here as well, for example, because they've been going for a long time. So I'll put the links here, and I hope that you'll click the links, download, and find out more as well, because at the end of the day, we need to start looking at getting gold and buying gold. If you haven't started doing it already, then you need to really start looking at implementing it. Starting out with the silver, $35 for 1 ounce, buying a coin, one a month if you can afford it, for example. Silver is a lot cheaper, for example, whereas with gold, it is 3,000, I believe it's gone possibly over $3,000 for an ounce of gold. So start with the silver, because let me tell you, silver is needed more than gold, literally. So, and the global mines are saying that they've only got about 20 years supply globally. So they've got to start looking for new silver mines, because the demand is huge. So they're using more silver. The demand is higher than the actual supply. And I did do a video, I'll just show you. I did a video the other day, and I did do some graphs, and I put it also in the video. But as you can see here, this is the silver supply versus demand. So this is what they can supply, the blue, for example, here, right? And then this is the demand. The demand here is outweighing the supply, as you can see here from this draft. So you can see that's 2024. We haven't even done 2025 yet. So the supply each year is getting higher and higher and higher and higher for silver. So that's why everybody seems to be panicking, rushing. It's like silver's become the new gold rush, right? So it's like there's more cars that's needed, electronic vehicles. More people want electronic vehicles, plus the new legislations. Well, not new legislations, they've been around for years anyway, so it's not like it's new. We know that cars, that we have to change over to electric cars, for example. And that electric car takes silver for the electric vehicles to run. Same with AI. AI, it needs the silver, meaning the robots, the chips that help to run the robots, they need silver. So the conductors need to, and it can only be done with silver, not any other substitute. There's no other substitute besides silver. Same with the solar panels, that's silver. Same with the medical equipment, it's silver in there. So the demand is increasing year after year after year. They can't provide enough to meet the demand. So when people are ordering silver, for example, and gold, even at the moment, they're ordering it from these vaults, for example, and they're having to wait months. They're not able to get it instantly, for example. So that's why I say to you to buy your coins, buy your silver bars, buy your gold bars as soon as you can, for example. But also, if you was to do the gold and silver, the scrap gold and silver, and then you get it to a certain weight, then you can turn it into a silver coin, and you can turn things into a silver bar or a gold bar or a gold coin, for example. That way you've got the gold and silver, but you've also got it at a reduced rate, not the spot rate. So you can even get like 30% less. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I did it in 2007 with my husband. We did scrap gold parties where we would get people to host a party, and then we would go round there, and then there'd be 10 people, 20 people, for example. They would, one by one, they'd bring their gold to the table where we was, for example. We would weigh it, test it, make sure that it was, we'd have the correct testing equipment to make sure it was the real thing, for example, the carats or the silver. And then we would weigh it, and then we'd look at what the spot price was, and then we would reduce the price from what the spot price was. Because someone's got a broken earring, for example, and I'll use this as an example here. So, for example, this is gold, right? But it's broken. It's a broken earring. You can see it's broken, can't you? So it's no good. Or someone's lost an earring, so they've only got one earring. That's no good. Or someone's broken a piece of, like they've got a bracelet, for example, and it's broken off, and they've only got like a piece left of it. So they would bring that, for example, or a clasp off of a necklace, or earring back, anything gold they would bring, for example, and then you would weigh it, and by the end of the day, by the end of the party, should I say, you'd have a bag of gold and silver. You'd separate them, of course, and by the third month you would have enough, for example, to, if you do it regularly on a monthly basis, for example, you would have enough for a gold bar, or maybe two or three, depending on how much gold you retrieve and how much the refinery is able to smelt it down into gold bars, because they have to make it pure, for example. So there are refineries that can do this, and they give you the paperwork as well, so you've got the paper. And just imagine, like I said, if you keep the gold and silver, say 5 years, 10 years, whatever, how long you need it, or use it when you need to, because this is the new monetary system. They've just, something amazing has happened, and that was this week, I believe, or last week. They've actually agreed, even though gold and silver was already a monetary system anyway, but they've actually brought it back again, that you can use in a certain, I think it's Utah in America, that you can use gold and silver like cash. Because the cash, some people say cash is trash, but cash is devaluing on a daily basis. We all know that when we go to the supermarkets, for example, you don't get as much as what you used to get for your cash, for example. So imagine that you've got this gold or silver coins, for example, and you can now use that as a monetary thing if you need to do that, for example. The reason why I'm saying this is to save this gold and silver for like 5 years. Look at it as a long-term plan. 5 years, 10 years time, for example. And then you can then perhaps put it as a down payment on a house, or even buy a house. Depends how much that gold has gone up to, or silver has gone up to, for example, or give it for a loved one's education, university, for example, college. Listen, Warren Buffett, he brought three 3,500 tons of silver, and that was what I talked about on my video that I've uploaded today, for example, and there's the free guide in there as well. He buys silver like every 30 years. He did one in, well, it's in the guide that I uploaded onto my drive, and then you'll be able to download it, for example. But he buys in 30-year cycles, silver, that is. And this is like the 30-year time. He knows his stuff. Warren Buffett knows his stuff. He really does. And he's got this book out that was written. I'll put the book here that I read. It was amazing. It teaches you about monetary systems, for example, and gold and silver is the new monetary system, because we can't rely on cash, because it's not going to go up in value. Cash is just going to keep going down and down and down in value, so it's not going to go up in value. Whereas with gold and silver, it's going to go up in value. Silver is at $35 per ounce at the moment, for example, right? So imagine it's coming up to possibly 40 Okay, and then could you imagine, like, by the end of the year, what that could go up to? It could go up to 800 an ounce. And then and then gold is currently at the moment 3,000 per ounce. By the end of the year, it could be 5,000 per ounce, or even 10,000 per ounce next year, for example. So just imagine, you don't want to leave it too late. You want to start purchasing now. And if you can purchase gold, great, wonderful. But I would be looking at silver, because silver is the dark horse. It's becoming the new oil, as opposed to the gold being. Because silver is a dual purpose. It's needed for two things: industrial, manufacturing, retail, for example. So it's got a lot more use than what gold has. Yeah, gold looks pretty. Don't get me wrong, it looks pretty. But I like silver. Just like I like gold, but I also like silver as well, for example. So think about it. If you start buying your silver coins, one a month, by the end of the year you'll have 12, for example. You times that by, if it's valued at 800, for example, then that would give you 9,600 in a year, for example. So that's like an additional income stream. Same with if you was to get gold. If you was to buy a gold coin, a quarter ounce gold coin is $800, for example. By the end of the year, that could go up. So I'm looking at them as a additional income stream, and also looking at as a long-term plan, because at the end of the day, we don't know when it comes time to pension, you don't know what your pension amount really is going to be. Because if we're looking at the cash, the currency cash, dictating our pension, then we're going to end up losing possibly 25% of our pension amount, because stocks, as you can see, are dropping all the time. It's very volatile. So why not top up your pension with getting silver or gold coins, or gold bars, for example, or silver bars, or gold coins? Why not top that up, ready for when you've got a pension? If I kept the silver that I had and gold that I had in 2007, because I used it to start my care business, for example, back then. But if I used that instead, that would have been worth about 500,000 pounds, which is like what, $700,000. So can you see what I'm talking about? That was 2007, for example. So look at it as a long-term goal, not as a quick fix. If you need it, obviously, then you're going to cash it in because you've got an emergency and you need to get that the money available, for example. But why not look at this long-term investment? Just try it for 5 years, see what the value is at that, and then you carry on. But keep buying those coins. When I remember when, for example, if a child was born, you would give them a coin, for example. But what was amazing was someone commented and they said that every year they give their grandchildren a coin, for example, or a birthday when it's Christmas, or a birthday, for example. When that child grows up, they've already got their down payment for university or for a house, for example, because it's worth a lot in a number of years, for example. So, like I said, I did a video on here the other day as well, where I said about how you can save $400,000 in 5 years, for example, and that is through getting gold coins. That's what I was talking about. I was showing some examples. Now remember, I am not a financial advisor, okay? I'm just here talking to you as a normal human being that is going through this discovery of gold and silver again. I did it back in 2007, and I know it works. And we all know that it works, because Warren Buffett would not be investing in these types of things. Neither would these large organizations or family offices or governments. They wouldn't be bothered if there was nothing there. They wouldn't even be bothered about it. They'd be looking at something else. So this is a investment, and it takes strategic planning and focus and consistency to make it work. Because when you do that, you will then have a great savings plan and a structure, whether it's for your retirement, whether it's for a loved one's gift that you want to give to them. It is something that will come in handy. The government is going to be making it, well, we already know it's a monetary system, because you can cash it in. It is liquid cash. You can get cash from this, doing gold and silver, for example. So why not give that a go? If you're not doing it already, I would highly recommend that you do it, because we don't know what the next couple of months is going to do, for example. And if you're in business, then start buying a small amount of gold or silver, whatever it is you can afford, each month, for example, to save for a rainy day, for example. There's things that we can do. There's the gold and silver, the precious metals that we can purchase. There's businesses we can do. There's also properties, but you got to buy at the right time when it comes to properties, otherwise things can crash. For example, I've been through 4 recessions now in my life, from what I can remember. 4 recessions that I've been through, and I'm still just trying to figure this out even now, even from the history of those previous recessions. But this is something that we're now being more aware of because of YouTube, isn't it? Otherwise we'd be there with a newspaper in our hands, or we'd have to go out and buy a book or go to the library to read about these things. This is now being made more available to us because of YouTube. And I'm so grateful to YouTube, because YouTube has helped me in my business, because I've ran my business here on YouTube, and it's enabled me to get 10, 15 appointments a week minimum in my business, because I am a business coach, for example. So I'm able to get my appointments through YouTube, because I love to train. I love training and things like that. It's my passion. And for me, talking to you about gold and silver, because I know that we're in this inflation crisis, uncertainty at the moment. So what can we do to help survive the hard times? Is we can look at getting gold and silver, or having a side hustle business, for example. There's multiple ways that we can do this. And like I said, I'm so pleased that we've got YouTube that we can refer to and learn from and grow and help each other. I know something, then I'm going to pass it on. I'm not going to just keep it to myself. I will pass it on, and I will show you what I do as well. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's discussion, and join me for traveling around the world online here on YouTube, traveling and discussing about all the different mines around the world. But I'm choosing the 10 wealthiest mines in the world, and this is a 10-part series, so do stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel if you want to get further updates on wealth building strategies, because that's also what my channel is about, wealth building, as well as AI automation, as well as business coaching as well. But what I want to also say to you is that there's so much that we can do to grow our own lives, for example. We don't want to be controlled by the outside elements. There's things that we can do to grow without being pushed in the wrong direction, if you know what I mean. So join me again. I will be going live I go live every day anyway, because like I said, I want to share what I know with you. I'm not saying that I am a financial advisor, because I am not, but I can talk to you about the different things to do with gold and silver, because I have purchased gold and silver. I have ran my own scrap gold and silver parties and turned them into gold bars, silver bars, for example. And I can also show you about how to do that as well, because I think it's so important for us to build a solid plan to grow our wealth portfolios and to get gold and silver. And in 5-10 years time, we've got a good savings plan, because if we was to try and put money into a bank for savings, we wouldn't come out with much. So this is the best alternative. We've got the wealthy billionaires, they're all buying gold and silver. And I mean, not by the ounce, they're buying it by the tons. And they're having it delivered to where they are, for example. So start today if you haven't. Start doing your research. I'm going to put some links here for the gold and silver organizations that are reputable that you can check out for yourself, for example, and look at the video that I uploaded today. I'll put the link here in this description of this video as well, so that you can download the free guide that I did, and it's regarding Warren Buffett and how he buys in 30-year cycles. Warren Buffett is amazing. He knows how to purchase things at the right time. He is a master, an expert at this. So thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for your likes. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Join me for my live tomorrow. And like I said, I'll be going live tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. That's 2 p.m. American time, New York, Atlanta time, for example, just to give you a different, depending on where you are in the world. I appreciate you all, and thank you so much for being here. I want us to grow together. I want us to have multiple streams of income. Whether you're at your beginning journey in your business or in your work in life, for example, or whether you're looking at your exit strategy, then this is one of the places to be. So thank you so much. My name is Christine Crowell, and thank you for joining me today. Have a wonderful evening or afternoon, everyone. Take care. Thank you. Bye.